Alright, let me get into things. How's it going, Nur? How are you doing today? A little bit later than I planned in streaming. I actually forgot what I was doing I had planned today. Like, I was going to stream a good chunk earlier, but I ended up getting distracted. But luckily I remembered at least fair enough in time to get it started. But, like, I got my Fairy Tale chapter uploading. It's coming up soon. And a lot of just general stuff. I mentioned this is a full week. Like, I think we got chapters of, like, everything generally that I read. We got, like, normal Shonen Jump. We got Fairy Tale. We got Eden Zero. We got Four Nights of the Apocalypse. I think the only way that this could be bigger is if we got the Record of Ragnarok chapter as well. I mean, that's... Is there anything else that I'm not remembering off the top of my head, like, series-wise, like, I'm regularly pretty hyped about that is absent? Because the only thing that I can think of is Record of Ragnarok. Like, Berserk is one of those ones where it's like you can never really predict anymore when Berserk's gonna come out. There'll just be some months where the dude just feels like putting some content out, but, you know, it is what it is. Either way, I'm always happy whenever it does come out, but for now, we got the current chapter, got the current content for this week, and obviously, I'm pretty hyped. I'm gonna try really hard to keep up the chat, though. What's up, JK Network? How are you doing today? Jared Punch, what are you guys doing? You think Dorothy is gonna save Noct? I'd be okay with, you know, somebody showing up and doing something for it. Because, like, in general, like, Noct is in a bad spot. Like, Noct is not in a happy place right now. He is in a all-around death flag area, unless somebody shows up. Dorothy would be pretty cool. Like, I just would be wondering why Dorothy would choose, like, there specifically. Like, if she gives a statement. Other than that, though, he needs somebody. And we know that Fuego is not going to show up because Fuego's on the ground. We know that he's outside at the point where Luck and all of them show up, like, right when Noct is seemingly defeated. But we'll see. Lucy's father. Lucy is ridiculous after this chapter. Like, she had so much hype legitimately after this chapter. All spirits, no breaking a sweat. Stardress mix just fine. Dropping Aquametria on people as well. Like, on top of that, she didn't even have to, like, summon each of her spirits out one at a time. She just bopped on the ground and said, alright, I'm summoning all of them. Like, she is legitimately really impressive after this chapter. What's going on, though, Stephen Vu? How are you doing today? Libe as Bakugo Burr. I have to rewatch some scenes, because, like, I legitimately don't hear it. Like, it's weird, because, you know, this is voice actor. Maybe, like, I have to hear it more enraged, since most of the time Bakugo talks, he's, you know, pissed off for the anime. Read Build King and Orient. I gotta get caught up on Orient, but definitely read Build King. The last chapter is super hyped. I really enjoy seeing Tonkaichi drawn in the more serious style. I said in my review, I think it was this one, it actually reminds me a little bit of Charmy, and how, like, Charmy, like, regardless of what Charmy's doing in the story, you know that, like, stuff's getting serious when Charmy's drawn with a much more serious design rather than, like, little chibi Charmy. And that's the same thing, like, what Tonkaichi has. Tonkaichi, like, he's either, you know, the normal kind of just, like, general walk-around build, looking pretty funny, nothing kind of crazy. He's got his McDonald's colored outfit, he's pretty short. But then, like, when he's drawn with, like, some actual, like, detail to him, he's flexing, he's looking serious, he looked badass. I was really happy about that, because, like, that last panel, when he's just getting mad, the vigor on his back is starting to bubble up, he looked pretty badass, like, outright. One episode left of Black Clover, it'll be back. They'll announce that there's going to be more, more episodes after some form of, break in time. At the Rebel Arms joins him, all Shiki needs is the rest of the LC fleet to fight Narrow. I mean, I think he's going to need more in general. Like, if he's got 60,000 people on standby, 100,000 battleships, then he's gonna need, I think, just more of like a strategical way of getting there rather than like getting the forces, because I don't think they're gonna have the level of raw numbers and, like, sheer firepower to go against Narrow at the time. Lax still the strongest Dragon Slayer? No, he's not. Put Natsu versus Laxus. The second Natsu drops in a Dragon Force, Laxus is screwed. He has absolutely zero counter to a Dragon Force Natsu. Absolutely no counter. Like, what would he potentially do? Like, nothing. Natsu just fucking hits him. Natsu with Dragon Force is the strongest person in the guild. The second he goes to Dragon Force, during that time period of while it's active, he's the top member of the guild. Easy. What's up, bud? How's it going? I'm glad you're caught up with Eden Zero. You gonna read Brave Master Fairy Tale anytime soon? So you got Eden Zero, I recommended. You enjoyed Build King, doing good with Build King. You should never doubt me. I'm pretty good at calling manga, man. Thanks to Eden Zero's coming out and the animation surpassed Fairytale and Black Clover. I mean, Black Clover overall, I would say isn't that hard, considering some of the early Black Clover animation areas. And I doubt Eden Zero is going to be weekly, so it's going to have, I would assume, more time to get stuff set up. And then, like, obviously, it's going to have better animation for than, like, the Fairy Tail anime. The Fairy Tail anime started in 2009. So you've got a lot of just general animation gap on it, and like in time in general, to have that superior level of animation, you know. And plus, like, first season, they always go, like, whenever they have a first one, they always go a little bit extra in, like, a lot of areas as well, because they gotta get that hook. You gotta hook people. I would imagine it's much harder nowadays than it was, like, you know, even 10 or so years ago to get, like, an anime off the ground, considering there's a ton of animes now, and it reaches just to a general bigger audience. Shake of Magic doesn't work on Echo. Yeah, no. Would have worked better than most spells. I mean, wait, what was this? And why didn't Laxus use Fairy Law on actively? It wouldn't have done anything. It wouldn't have done anything. Orange Skin anime? Yes, it is. Four Nights Apocalypse just dropped. Oh, send me the link. I'll do the review on that after my stream and upload it tomorrow. If you could, but I'd really appreciate it. You send me the link. Let's see. Laguna was a member of Dragon Joe's crew and Rebel Army. Like, damn, is there a group this guy hasn't joined? I mean, he's just got a lot of connections. Like, his thing so far is he's that criminal dude who just knows all these other dudes in the underworld. Or all these different guys, like, throughout the... I guess maybe, like, the grayer area of the law, if you really wanted to kind of, like, poke at. I just said in my review that he's kind of like the anti-hero of, at least intelligence-wise, like who he's got communications-wise, and like who he can just kind of, you know, back and forth with, at least from what I can tell. Would Fairy Law work on a dragon god, or only on weak people? I mean, it wouldn't work on a dragon, they'd just be immune to it. The only way that I could see it working on a dragon is if it's such an overwhelming raw amount of magic that the resistances can't withstand it. Because that's always the thing. Like, I don't think that, like, dragons forever just no magical attack. Like, you throw a magic attack that blows up the planet at them, and it's like they're just floating around unedged in space. No, they're going to be hurt. It's more of like a resistance thing with them. So if you just break through whatever their resistances are. Like, my belief is always it's like, whatever their durability is, they have, like, an automatic neutralization of magic of that level. Like, say if your durability is an 8, I don't really know what I would even, like, peg this at. Like, if it was a... Like, I would say, like, if you had a mountain-level set of durability, then your magic nullification would be also at that same level. So you would have to get past both levels just to defeat the guy. Because it'd be like, you could take the weakest dragon and put, like, Grey against somebody, and, like, he's still gonna beat him. Like, he's still really powerful. Let's see. Let's see. Why did none of the other Dragon Slayers have a Dragon Force form even remotely similar to Power Natsu's? Because depends on which ones, but for the most part, any of them that gained Dragon Force through a Lacrima, you look at, like, Laxus, you look at Sting, Rogue, you look at Cobra, it's always been way weaker than either natural Dragon Force, you're able to actually achieve it through normal, like, means of just, you know, becoming powerful enough to use it, or having that, like, artificially induced Dragon Force, like when Natsu, you know, just ate the Ethereum, put the level of raw power he took, pushed him way past his limits, and he activated Dragon Force. But any of the Lacrima-based Dragon Force has never been as powerful. Like, if we just look at, say, Sting and Rogue's display in the Grand Magic games, you look at Cobra and Laxus, and you compare it to even the first time Natsu ever got Dragon Force, like, the level of boost that Natsu got makes theirs look so tiny. Like, Laxus and Cobra, their boosts were not that significant. Stings and Rogues were definitely big, but it wasn't even close to the level of boost that Natsu got when he got into, the artificially induced one. Or Wendy when she did it against Easel, or when Gajil did it against Bloodman. It's just a different process, and it's a different result of, like, what this multiplier, this form does when achieved through different means, you know what I mean? it's one of those things that, like, I really wish that Mishima would just take a chapter to go into full info dump, like, explanation, because, again, he's very consistent with a lot of stuff like that, like, again, like, the different Dragon Force styles, how hybrid modes were achieved. He's very consistent with aspects of them, but he hasn't just had them outright stated. Like, every time we've ever got a hybrid mode character, it's always involved a Dragon Slayer Lacrima, but it's never been like a character outright says, like, oh, Natsu and Gajo, you are able to have this hyper mode for this reason exactly. We've never had, like, a direct statement, but it's one of those things that, like, has an explanation, but Mishima knows it. He just hasn't told us yet. Because if he's consistent with it, like, every time of what exactly what has resulted in its existence, then he just hasn't given us anywhere, he hasn't given us the information for it. Like, think of that, like I said, when it comes to Dragon Slayer, Dragon Force versions, consistently every single time where it's, like, a character has gotten because of their Lacrima, it's completely, like, it's not even close to the level that, like, Natsu or anything get artificially getting it from, you know, intaking a power like Ethereon or energy around face, you know, anything like that. Let's see. No, Eden Zero's animation is just different. Yeah, I mean, it looks different in general. Like, they definitely... I don't know what it is about the animation style, but it further keeps Shiki's appearance looks further away from Natsu. I think one of the things about it is it's definitely a plus in the anime version. Because, like, with the art style that he has, like, Shiki's gonna look a good chunk different further down the line. Just because Mishima's art is gonna change, and Shiki's appearance is gonna change over the course of it. Like, look at what current Natsu looks like. In Mishima's art, not talking about, like, in terms of Ueda's art, because Ueda's going off from Mishima's design, but look at, like, early Natsu versus Natsu at the end. Look at early Haru versus Haru at the end. The general design of the characters, like, tweaks, and then the art style evolves. So, like, by the time Eden Zero is, like, way further in, like, a couple years now, he's probably going to look a good, fair chunk altered. Let me see some more of the comments. No Ultimate Magic Lucy? I don't think so. I mean, especially because it's like, Noelle's is just water magic. Lucy has water magic. She can control water with her Aquarius dress. So, I don't really know what Noelle would even really do at this point. Ricky is going to be the director of the anime for Eden Zero, and he's praiseworthy. What else has that guy done? I don't know anything about people specifically. Is Eden Zero good to read? I haven't started yet. Yeah, definitely check it out, man. You should read it. Brax... it didn't tell me where you live. Why would something tell me tell you where I live? Fire doesn't work on Natsu even if he's moving. Well, so there's the whole fact, like I said, resistances. Because it's not like the second Natsu got dragon slaying magic, he just was immune to all fire everywhere. Like, it's not like, Natsu, you just learned dragon slaying magic. I'm gonna have Atlas Flame go all out and breathe on you. It's like, no, that would still kill him. Or you can look at something like God Slaying Magic. That was just a general level above where Natsu was at. He was able to adapt and get stronger and go beyond where he was at before. He was able to adapt his body to that type of fire. There are still stuff outside of what they can do. Or, like, look at Laxus versus Orga. Not only was Laxus absurdly stronger than Orga, but, like, he was able to beat somebody that fodderized Orga. So, Laxus, even leagues above Orga, was still being damaged by his God Lightning. It's just a difference of potency, I think it was a better way to say it, or also just in, like, raw amounts, like, just the raw type of level that's coming with them, again, potency. Just think of it like that. It's not that they're always immune to it, because otherwise, how would anybody with fire would automatically never be able to harm or Natsu, the second Natsu gets the slaying magic, and Natsu or anybody in their line, but we know that's not the case. People have been able to damage Slayers with their elements, but one of the big things about it is, like, being drastically weakened for most things, because this is about Acnolomia, is a huge crutch. It weakens them across the board. It makes it so they can barely use their magic, and they're wizards. The entirety of their stats and how they work depends on their magic. You take away their magic, and it's like their body's gonna become weaker. Their reactions are gonna be weaker. Their general resistances, literally everything about them is gonna be dwindled. Not gonna lie, Rax trashed a lot of series you recommend for X. Rather than Tori, Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, and Zero, Build King, I think that's it so far. Stop doubting me. I'm good at manga picks. Any manga that I say, hey, this is pretty good, you should read it, It should be at least enough to go for the jump. And I know you haven't been reading Fairy Tail. You need to read Fairy Tail and Rave Master as well. I don't miss on these things. Gravity is really OP sometimes. She can just simply touch the ground and everyone drop their guns. Oh, he's got, he's like more accurately pinpointing the gravity where it's afflicted. He just targets the guns. He's not targeting the people, just pokes them. Lance versus Wise. Isn't Lance the sword dude? What's he gonna do to Wise? Wise has guns. He's got a freaking mech suit. He's got multiple different kind of like switched weapons between him. He has a flamethrower. He's got like his normal bladed weapons. He's definitely a little too much for him. One of the things obviously about Mashal as well is they don't have much for speed feats, to be perfectly honest at all. Like, I'm trying to think of like some of their power feats. I don't think the Lance has anything really that commendable. Because like most of the impressive things I think off the top of my head were done by Mash, and Mash is the strongest one so far. Like outside of like the people in his age group, we haven't really got like somebody outright more powerful than him yet. Yoka getting defeated next chapter. It's a high possibility. I don't think so. My guess is next chapter will be more Urza focused, and then Yoko will lose in the chapter after that, but we'll see. It really depends on if Yoko has anything else up her sleeve. Because right now there's no reason to think that she does or doesn't, because it's a little hard, because like, she has, oh shit, I just saw $100. 1 second, I will get to that. Let me finish what I was just saying. You just busted a nut. And then I will respond to that, because obviously this is, $100, much appreciated. But, with Yoko, it's like, there's no reason to assume that she has more, because what she's shown is already actually really impressive of how she combines them. Flight, infinite, familiar summons, and then, her familiar, like, with the yokai have resistances to elements. We saw the water ones that aren't hurt by water, so I would assume, other ones that are more elemental set aren't going to be directly just plain affected by their elements. And she's got, like, the whole Shikigami to set up decoys and fakes, so good luck trying to hit her. She actually is a really good rounded arsenal, but it's like at the same time, I'm hoping she has more because of the fact she is directly set to Celine. She's directly adjacent to Celine, so she has to have something bigger. But anyway, $100 from Rax, the anti-Villanio Rax. Would you be willing to do a video on Zenkro from Grimoire Heart? Yes. I actually really like Zenkro. I can probably get to him soon. I have to get to that Ivan video. I was going to get to that today, but the Fairy Tail Chapter 1 came out a lot earlier than I had planned. So I'll probably get to that next. I can probably put that after Ivan, because I do actually like Zenkro. I always really liked Zenkro, and I actually probably can share my what if for Zenkro idea, if he didn't die. So definitely appreciate the $100. Always appreciate anyone who wants to donate and give me a little bit of a tip for their cash, in the hopes that my talking, mostly rambling, ends up being at least somewhat entertainable enough to get said boost. Let me see. Yeah, definitely appreciate the $100, man. One sure finds out. Wait, let me see. I think I skipped a comment. Oh, anyone else seen the Tokyo Revengers anime trailer? I haven't yet. I heard it's good. One sure finds out Elsie and the Interstellar Union army will enter the fray. Do you think he's arrogant enough to engage them as well as the fleet, despite dealing with Ziggy? I hope not. He's got to be smarter than that. Like, if there's that much going on, if he takes, like, their whole armada, he might be fine. Because he's got a whole Cosmos' military. I didn't get to read the chapter yet, so did Greg get a new form? Not yet. It was a Lucy Power chapter. It looks like the next one is Urza. He's really, like, teasing one for Gray. Like, no joke. Like, Gray was the one seemingly gonna get it, and then, Natsu and everybody showed up to take down the yokai versions of Happy and Carla. So I think he's willing, like, knowingly, putting the teaser on Gray, because he hasn't done anything crazy with Gray since the 100 Years Quest. So I'm starting to think that he's setting this up on purpose. Let me see. I'm watching Jujutsu Kaisen's dub for a bit. I haven't watched the dub. I heard people didn't really like Yuji's voice actor. Imagine Wendy seeing a rogue teach Natsu how to go Dragon Force at will, so be more broken. Wait, what? Imagine when you see... Wait, Natsu has Dragon Force at will. What do you mean? Sting and Rogue is because they have the Dragon Lacrima. But Natsu has Dragon Force. He's been willingly dropping Dragon Force since Alvarez arc. Jacob, Oh, God. Oh, that's what I mean. Natsu doesn't really have a problem acting. Yeah, he just does it. It's not that he has a problem maintaining it. It's that Natsu burns through it super fast. When Wendy goes Dragon Force, she maintains the form. She does her thing, holds it, and she's able to do it more for the long range of usage. Natsu goes in, he's ready just to go all out. He's ready to put everything and destroy whoever he's at. This is when Natsu goes into I have to kill my opponent mode. Like, once he goes Dragon Force, he knows that is he's all in at this point. He knows what he's doing. But if he did, he'd be willing to make it stronger. Like, Natsu has it. Or the guy didn't tell him that you were, wait, what? That guy meant it. It didn't tell him that you were alive on. Wait, what? I don't know what you mean. Adaptation abilities different from other worlds is a key thing I enjoy about my concepts. I was thinking of the character of Cursed Energy because he has negative emotions over him. The one thing you gotta do is you don't have, I will say don't have too many power systems, just because, at least really fast, just because you don't want things to kind of like get mixed and kind of overwhelm certain areas, you know. DCEU Superman versus Natsu? What would Superman do? Like that, the movie Superman? Like for a second I thought it was Superman. I was like, what is Natsu gonna do? But this is the one Superman is weak to magic, and this is specifically the movie Superman. Like, Natsu should be fine. It sure is around Earth gonna say it's Galactic Interstellar. Do you think you can take Elsie or Justice to a high? I mean, probably. I assume he is. Noelle is better? I don't think Noelle is better than Lucy. I like Noelle a lot. I mean, she's definitely got high potential, but like Lucy has managed to stay relevant and like keep her story going and keeping her character progressing and really come in clutch. Like a lot of times, Lucy's definitely overlooked. People always just want to talk about, you know, she usually gets looted or has silly moments, but not like all of her good moments. No matter how weak, none of them. Touching him, he laughed him off, so he's weak. Wait, what? I don't even know what you're saying at this point, man. Are you talking about with Acnologia? I mean, yeah, they're not stronger than Acnologia by themselves. Why does Laguna keep bullying a little bit? You know what? I am not a fan of how Laguna is to the rest of the Eden Zero crew. I mean, he's not even in the crew yet. That's one of the bigger things that bothers me about. He's not very nice, and he's not in their group yet, so he just comes off as being rude. But it'd be different if he's, you know, when we see, like, Natsu and Gray, like, banter, or, like, Godzilla or something, you know that they're all on the same team, so, and, you know, they're friends at the end of it, so it's like, okay, that's cool. Like, the explanation, and it's the easiest that I can think of, it's like, if one of your friends made a joking insult at you versus somebody you don't know, or at least somebody you weren't cool with, it's just a completely different vibe. You're like, well, what's your deal versus, like, oh, yeah, whatever, man. Even mocking Shin's determination says, I'm not a fan of Laguna's personality right now. Definitely not a fan. Living Fortnite Night to the Apocalypse Shower. I'm gonna read it after this stream. Like, my Fairy Tail review should be, I think it should be a half hour. In a half hour, it's gonna pop up. I'm pretty sure doing this stream made it slow down a little, but I didn't want to stream. I didn't want to, like, take too long and then stream way later in the evening. Just because I gotta wake up early tomorrow, so I didn't want to stay up too long. But let's see, we're at like only like good 25 minutes since we go. Oh hey, Lovely Leech, what's going on? I just saw a comment. How are you doing today? Luckily you caught the stream. Let's see. And Zankro, whatever Azuma is where it's at. Azuma was cool, but like Zankro's design, and I loved his like weird character quirks and his little personality beats. He just had a very interesting design to him and everything set around him that had a lot of potential. That I'm like, man, him dying, I wish so bad he didn't die. He's definitely on my list for characters that, like, if I could undo his death, I really wish I could. And it's not the same as like Acnologia is probably my best example for like a death that had to happen because they couldn't let him live. Natsu couldn't let Acnologia live. Acnologia had to die, and there was no saving him. Whereas, like, Zankro, you could have had him not die in that arc, and it wouldn't have changed the outcomes of the arc, or following, like, events following. You could have just had, like, older Zankro, and it would have been so cool. But we'll see. We need an army for this rebellion. I mean, they've got some people. I don't think it's going to be army-based. I think it's going to be more of, like, spec ops kind of thing. They're going to have their elite forces, and they're going to infiltrate it and try and take them down way more quiet. Oh, they didn't get the notifications on? That's alright, it happens sometimes. How are you doing today? How's it going? You see the latest One Piece chapter with the character reveal? Oh, at the end of the last one? Or do you mean the spoilers? Because I did look at the spoilers. I only looked at I think they're just text spoilers right now, so I haven't looked at too much. Oh, I got another super chat. Let me see who this is. Oh, it's from Anime Fan. Let me read this. Luckily, I wasn't in a tangent this time, so I can get to it. Thank you for the 5, I think, pounds? Pounds or euros? Right off the top of my head. Irax, how are you doing? I finally caught Honduras quest this week. Loving what's going on so far. Yoko Happy and Carlo are so cool. My hopes on that... Shit. Oh, let me get away from that.
He's busted a nut.
There we go. The notification went through. My hopes on that, like, in general, I'd really like to believe that Wendy could pretty much enchant those forms back if she really wanted to. Like, if it came down to it, Wendy could easily just, you know, buff both of them in order to make them, you know, go up to this giant, powerful tiger form. I think it would be really cool. And it would give them, like, an additional bonus of their capabilities. Even if it's not something they can just do by themselves, it'd be cool if something that obviously they can do as a combo. Let's see, bro, that can't be the real Odin. I'm very curious of how, like, the large-scale population of One Piece has really been, like, mass taking this in. Because I know this is gotta be a really polarizing chapter. Like, the Odin stuff is very odd. So, whatever Oda has planned, I definitely want to see what exactly is next. Because, is he going to do it? Is he going to pull away from it? Like, what exactly is on the Oda agenda? Because it could have easily been, like, a fake, and then the next chapter, like, maybe it's just like he knew he was going to go on a 2-week break and he wanted to put people on a cliffhanger. Who knows? Let me get some more of the comments. I'm doing good at keeping up with the chat. Like, I'm not even behind today. Like, usually I get really damn behind. I wonder if the Knights are going to end up being stronger than the Sins. Oh, yeah, the 4 Knights? Oh, 100%. Like, the 4 Knights in Apocalypse? Yeah, 100%. Percentage of being Odin is low, but it's never 0. You should never assume anything like a reveal like that is 0. Like, there's always a chance. 4 Knights in Apocalypse chapter out. Yet apparently it's out. That's what Bud says. Natsu would lose to Superman, but you might beat movie Superman. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, it depends entirely on the Superman. Very much so. Because, like, Natsu can damage Superman with his magic, because Superman is weak to magic. But, like, Natsu's advantage of being able to burn magic is gone. And Superman just has to really get in, like, a good... Like, depending on the Superman, he just has to get in a punch. Like, he can just uppercut Natsu into space. He's Superman. Or actually, Haru is the best because he doesn't have a weakness. I mean, yeah, he does. Just disarm him. Disarm him. He's a swordsman. Just disarm him. What do you mean? Like, he absolutely has a weakness. Just disarm the dude. I feel like Laguna may be hiding something. Maybe Laguna likes to distance himself from others. Oh, he's definitely sus. I absolutely am keeping my radar on the dude. Like, he's sus. Our boy's a boy for Juvia. She was a good water. Yeah, she wasn't a bully. I mean, I don't think he isn't like, oh man, I'm never gonna like him. But it's like, he's definitely a little bit of them, like, a little bit of an asshole. You just gotta wait. He'll get better, I assume. What site has 4 Knights right now? I think Manga Dex does. Should read Saint Seiya. It's pretty similar to Fairy Tail. A little bit dated from being like 80s. As canon one spin-off, more of these styles. I've wanted to check out Saint Seiya. It's one of those ones I've always had like on my back burner that I just never really got around to. Something Gajio's never called Natsu by his name. He's just Salamander. In every episode he calls him Salamander. How can Vegeta call Kakarot in every screen? I'd have to go back. Like, that's one of those things I've thought about, but I've never went to like confirm it if he's ever called him Natsu at any point, because it's one of those character, like, I don't know, quirks or like just aspects that like I've never put interest in about like Gajos, but it's an interesting trivia thing and like just character piece. If so, I'd have to go back and look though for sure. This guy has been on fire recently. Series-wise, popular. Yeah, it's been doing really good. I've been glad that they've been they've been holding up. I'm serious though, like, Jujutsu Kaisen's fandom got toxic over like the court. Like, I think it was a couple weeks after the first big trailer came out. I'm dead serious. I legitimately think that series with like fair amounts of fan service keep really aggressive fans away. I'm not even shitting. Like, think about this, like One Piece is the biggest. It's the biggest manga. It's the biggest manga. Still one of the biggest animes, and its fandom like it has elitists, but like we never hear of like the big horrible toxic like events happening within their fandom. Like, you slander anything about, you know, not even slander, you just don't agree with some of, like, the big Attack on Titan elitists, they'll spoil stuff for you, or they'll threaten you. Same thing with My Hero. Like, Jujutsu Kaisen hasn't gotten as toxic as these other ones, but they're still decently toxic. I don't know what it is, but I legitimately think that it's something to do with, like, regular fan service that keeps just those aggressive people at bay. Part of my belief is just that, like, all of them just don't like fan service, so it just keeps them out of there, and then regular people can just appreciate what's there. Rax makes bread easy. Oh, I made bread. I made bread the other day. It actually turned out really well. I was very happy about it. So I was messing up on a couple loaves of bread, because I neglected my sourdough starter, and then I just had to feed it for a few days, and then it kind of got back on track. I actually got to feed it again some point today before I go to sleep. We know Sister has Becky in her phone wallpaper. Do you think Witch has Shiki and Herman as Wise? I don't think so. I think that's just a sister thing. I hope Happy gets a human transformation on Hero's Quest. I think it would be cooler if he got to find a way to pop in and out of that tiger form. Greetings from Germany. How's it going, man? KGKG. How's Germany doing? Baku and Levy screams. Zenetsu screams. Wait, what? I hate those who are loud for no reason. Wait, for the Zenetsu scream, does Zenetsu... Is it the same voice actor? Because I know Bakugo and Libe have the same voice actor. Bro, Gray shreds no cap. I mean, yeah, that's not a fight. Did somebody try and say Gray versus Yuno? Gray freezes him. Gray can freeze wind. What does Yuno do? Like, Gray can freeze wind. He's outright way more powerful. He's got aggressively better feats. He's got way more combat experience. How can't summon swords back to his hand? I would be surprised. There's a part... I had to go back and look. It's when he was fighting Ashura. I think he does it. I'd have to go back and look. Let me pull up the chapter really quick at Rave Master. I know where it's at. Like, I know the chapter. Well, like, I know that the area it's in. I don't know, like, by chapter. But I know it's obviously near that final. I think it's volume... Oh, hiccup right there. Volume 33? Might be 32. Let me go look. I don't know if he... I'm pretty sure he does it, but I don't think he does it the same way that, like, Asta can just call back his swords. I think when Haru does it, it was more of, like, just some ability that triggered. Let me see. I'm pulling up the chapter when he fought Ashura. Let's see. I think it's volume 34. Because obviously it's near the end, like the demon general, or was it demon lord generals, whatever, for Lucia's set. No, it would have to be volume 32. I think the pages weren't fully loaded when I was looking at, or sorry, volume 33 when I was looking at it, because obviously they can't. The part where I was looking at it had the fight between, damn it, what's his name? The dude who fought Let. It had to be before then, because, you know, that the Shuro fight, he was the first one to lose. Let me see. I'm pulling it up, because I remember the dude was trying to break Revolt. Like, he grabbed Revolt, he was trying to snap it in half. And then Haru, you know, Haru had to do his thing, had to have blue there. He had to have a couple of variables in order to defeat him, but in the chapter, I swear he called his sword back. I'm trying really hard to find it. I'm scrolling through a whole volume, so I don't remember exactly where it's at. I'll have to let me read some of the chat so I don't get too far behind, and then I'll get back to this. So I've been doing good at keeping on the chat, so I wanna try and not. I don't want to try and not lose that. I also loved a new chapter. I was literally so hyped. Lucy summoned all her spirits and her star dress, more power. Yeah, she's doing really. This was a very Lucy heavy chapter, and again to emphasize how impressive what she did actually was. Summoning all those spirits, no problem. Aquametria, no problem. Stardust Mix, no problem. Like, Lucy, this is the most powerful Lucy we've ever seen. Like, by a lot. By a lot. Oh, is the new chapter? Yeah, the new chapter's out. Fairy Tail chapter, read it in French, loved it. I loved it, of course. I mean, like, they would have to do something ridiculous in order for me to be upset. Like, I mentioned one thing in a recent video, I don't remember which one it was, but something that would actually legitimately bother me, because I would have to think of something that would trigger me from, like, the standpoint of, like, stuff in this, from, like, the storytelling point of it, to really bug me. And one of them was, like, if Sting and Rogue showed up, or if we saw Sting and Rogue, and, like, over the last year, they didn't do anything with the whole White Shadow Dragon form that they used against Larcade, because it's like Sting and Rogue not training on that would be weird. They would have to completely just brush off the whole concept and never talk about it for a whole year for that to make sense. So something that would really have to bother me would have to be like heavy, like within the chapters. But I was super hyped about it. Obviously, like Lucy getting spotlight, always good. Happy to see her just like flex hard. But it was funny because she didn't like do any outright, like she didn't do any feats that were massive in display or defeat any bigger opponents. It's really only if you understand like the sheer amount of gap that she's been at, and then like where S-Class even was. Angel was S-Class. She could summon 1 gold key and 1 silver key. Lucy surpassed her since the Grand Magic Games, and here she is just summoning all of her spirits all at once, no problem. Like, imagine if she had the other 2 golden keys and the black key right now. She'd be a monster. Wait, what? That's definitely not what happened. Red Eagle. Ignia was not in the chapter. Look like I skipped past these odd fan fictions. The My Hero fandom was wild. I tried to enjoy the show without associating any of them. They're very weird. What if Happy gets a dragon transformation? That's one of those things a lot of people have always asked. And I'd be okay with it. I'd be like, it is a cool concept, but I kind of like the big tiger Happy. Because imagine if he put on his wings in that form. That would have been sick. I always appreciate fan service. I mean, yeah, it's fan service. Like, again, think about it. The series that have fan service never have those aggressively toxic fans. Like, you might have, like, selective people, but it's usually grounded. You don't have anybody, like, sending death threats to random folks or bullying translators off Twitter and stuff. That's actually is pursuing a revive to go fight them. Oh, you're talking about the fanfiction one. No, I already answered, but you think that Noelle act if she met Lucy and... Oh, they'd be fine. They would get along. I don't think... She wouldn't press... I mean, she might mess with Noelle. She wouldn't press her, because she knew about Godjo Levy, like, well earlier. I appreciate fan service. Yeah, it's good. Shiki versus Blue Note, Gravity, who wins? I would give it to Blue Note, because, one, Blue Note outright dwarf Shiki stat-wise in general, feats and everything that he's got. And two, on top of just the gravity, because if you put them against each other, it would just be like gravities, you know, nullifying the other. But Blue Note is actually very physically strong. We know that he clashed with Gildarts, so he should be able just to beat Shiki into the dirt, at least currently. E&D versus Zagreus, who wins. Natsu would burn literally everything that Zagreus throws his way, and he would just go straight for him, and he would incinerate him. And Zagreus and his heart are made of magic, so like Natsu would just like reduce him to ash. Dante versus Shiki versus Blue Note versus Fujitora. Oh, Dante. Those four, Dante. None of them have a way to kill Dante. Like, the only person in that lot who has a move with the potential to kill Dante is Blue Note, but that's with Blue Note's Black Hole. Dante also has Black Hole, but his is way more flexible. Like, in general, he can throw his, and he can pull him out way easier. And, like, Blue Note is fully grounded when he's using it. Like, both times that he's used it, I'm counting, like, the anime scene, he had to stand there. Like, he's not able to move around while he's doing it. Man, YouTube didn't notify your live streaming. That sucks. YouTube's been on some weird shit lately. Cause YouTube was messing with Josuke's stream yesterday, like something fierce. Like, it kept dropping. Look, his character is nothing like Zangetsu or Kurama. Yeah, I mean, anybody that's read more than 10 chapters of any of those series know that. I mean, it's just goofy people reaching this point. I wonder if you... wait, Jacob. No, dude, there's no way... Blue Note can't take Dante. Or do you mean, like, the Blue Note versus Shiki? Because Blue Note obviously beats Shiki right now, but you put Dante in there, Dante's winning. Dante is immortal. If you don't have a way to destroy his... To pretty much null out his body magic, he's immortal. He's just gonna keep getting back up. It's like trying to fight Hades outside his ship. Like, you get him outside his ship, and he's just gonna keep getting back up. Bro, need to reanimate Fairy Tail. I would love it if they did a Fairy Tail anime reboot. I mean, like, I want to see 100 Years Quest animated, but, like, if they said, hey, we're gonna reboot the anime and we're gonna make everything really crisp and nice, I'm not gonna be opposed to it. It would be like, damn, I gotta wait longer for 100 Years Quest animated, but I mean, like, I'm not gonna complain about just, like, seeing some of, like, the good or early nostalgic fights reanimated. Oh, my, that would just, it would take a little bit to kind of get in the swing of things, because you gotta watch some of those early episodes again. But once we get to, like, Natsu versus Gajeel, the Laxus fight, frickin' Natsu versus Jalal, Natsu going Dryad Force the first time, Natsu versus Zero, dude, that fight is still absurd. Natsu versus Zero in the anime is still absurdly hype. So seeing that, if they did that essentially the same thing, but maybe just, like, juiced the fight up and made everything look better animation-wise, it'd be ridiculous. Well, they point out Urza's senses are on point. Yeah, oh yeah, she was absolutely, like, pinpointing Yoko down to a key. Elantir is thanks for Lucy's feet, so it's not really a power. I mean, it's advanced through here. Oh, got something caught my throat. It's advanced through here. So, it'll be really weird if they leave Elantir and the characters don't have any of their abilities. Like, they haven't evolved to where they can't take some, like, even if it's not the raw magic amount, but, like, they have the skills come out here. I really doubt it's just going to be like that. They do all this and then they go back to exactly how they were when they leave. Like, in general, that, like, being here, like, they're going to get used to it and they're going to know how it all works. But, I mean, like, you could say the whole Elantir boost doesn't count to them the same way you could say it to all these other characters who are here at Elantir. I think Rebecca's Cat Leaper will connect Shura or Ziggy's Gravity. Oh, no, it'll be to, I think it'll be to Satan Gravity in general. I mean, it could just be Shiki. Like, there's clearly something very important about Shiki's individual existence. You notice for the chapter, in this Aunt Shia versus Sori vibe, the Celestial Spirits versus the Infinite Yokai, it's great. I mean, like, Urza's the one taking charge on this one. Like, I definitely am hyped about Lucy's moments, but, like, Urza's is going to be really vicious, I can tell. But also, on top of that, we haven't seen whatever Urza's advanced magic is. So That by itself is gonna be really hyped to see. Like, I'm hoping it's like merging her armor and swords, like she can just fuse them together, kind of like Stardress Mix. Or, I mean, that's the only thing I'd really think of. Like, unless they just advance to like a plus, like Flame Empress armor EX, where it's got like, it looks better designed. It just has like a much better set of additional components to it. Maybe the sword is more upgraded, and it's just like way better. It's just a way better version. Urza's is a little bit, like, hers to just come down to, like, her raw magic and, like, how she can just spam swords, maybe can summon faster. I don't know. We gotta wait. I wish Mishima did another Stardress Mix in this chapter instead of Leo X Virgo. I mean, but the thing about Leo X Virgo is, one, that's gonna be her main one. That one, for one, we've only seen the two, but it looks the best. And on top of that, like, it's made with light and, I mean, Virgo's grounds, but I mean, like, it's still good. She could just drop these sick light geysers. But I mean, like, it shows the first one, we saw how, like, exhausted Lucy was after just doing that. And then normal spirits, and then, like, how casually she's going from, like, drop to drop is obviously very big right now. And it gives a very good visual representation of, like, the gap that she's gone in from being here. On top of that, we'll get more in the future, especially if she can go into them like it's easy. No problem. Glad they point out. Oh yeah, I read this one. Rush of the concept. Will they stop using Dragon Force, White Shadow, Dry and Slip? Well, no, they used Dragon Force in the fight with Larkade. What do you mean? If they spent the last year not talking at all or working on the White Shadow Dragon form, and just like the fact that they can combine, like, it doesn't even have to be like, oh, they've made it so they each can have it at the same time, but it's just like they have the full capability of, if it comes down to it, buffing the other one with the power. That's the only way that, like, it can make sense. It would make no sense unless they just didn't see each other for a whole year. Sting and Rogue didn't meet back up. They were on a quest for their own kind or something. If you had a reason why they weren't around each other for a whole year, but if they had the free range to be around each other and they didn't talk about it, I don't know. I think it would just be dumb. It would look so bad on Sting and Rogue because it's one of those logical things that would just come up. Like, why wouldn't they? Especially when Sting and Rogue's whole thing is they train together and they work together. Like, it's not the same as Natsu and Laxus. Laxus, after, you know, he came back, he still wasn't a part of the guild. It was a while until he got rejoined time-wise, but they weren't around each other much, and then you got into, like, the training portions to build up the Grand Magic Games. Grand Magic Games happened. And then you had, like, the Starry Sky arc, Laxus getting taken out. There's a lot more in there that could still work around the idea of them not talking, but, like, they are around each other all the time, like Sting and Rogue are. And Sting and Rogue's whole thing is, like, how they work as a duo. So them not advancing on the, like, probably the biggest thing that they've come across as the duo pair would be weird. Let me see. Lucy's OP got 11. 100%. Characters need 0. Keep mentioning Rebecca's relationship with Shiki. Do you have any theories on how they're related? My guess is that whatever Shiki's secret thing is probably going to have to, like, connect to Cat Leaper. And probably why Rebecca has it. It's really weird just because they apparently have some form of story-wise connection that we just haven't gotten to yet. And also because we're like, 47 minutes in? Just do a quick shill. 26 people in here. Appreciate everyone for coming out. Really appreciate if you guys would thumbs up the stream. You know, subscribe if you haven't. And if you feel like, you know, that I've deserved any form of your patronage, if you want to donate $1 to me or something, much appreciated. Any donations are fully voluntary. Nothing's required. But anyway, Deku leaving that good, now got a good cape. Hopefully a time skip comes and Deku unlocked his other quirks. I'm hoping for a time skip, to be perfectly honest. Moscow fan service. I mean, whenever he's on panel. Noct versus Hades. Hey, Hades puts him down so quick. Like, Noct would get ready to do something, and then Hades just says Amaterasu 100 and just drops him. And the thing about Hades that's very difficult is if you fight him in his ship or not. If you fight him off the ship, he leaves the ship to go to do battle with you. Then his heart is safe off at a distance. Even if you get to the point where you knock him down, he gets back up. He has pretty much I don't want to say infinite stamina because he definitely had been down at a point during when, you know, he got hit by Not's Lightning Flame Dragon Roar. But I mean, it's such a fast replenishing of magic. He just gets right back up. So unless you have a way to deal with his heart in some way, shape, or form, you're probably not gonna have a good time against Hades. And if he gets down to it, he starts using his hidden magic, then he's gonna use Repent, which is death magic. So Noct would be dead. Oh, Bakugo to go full in the to go full power on time skip. I'm curious if that time skip is actually going to be the case, or if it's going to, like, the next chapter is going to be right where the last chapter left off. Do you think older Natsu would act as a father figure to Asta? I mean, right now they would just get along. He would definitely be like a good mentor to him. They'd brawl. He'd make Asta a much more aggressive individual. Not nearly as bad as people comparing Noct to Killer Bee. That's weird. I don't even get how those connection points really meet. I don't think the anime says, the way the anime says, oh, I mean, that's because they're speaking in Japanese. Battle of Morals Hades with Devil's Heart versus Dante. Hades versus Dante comes down to two specific things. I mean, not even two specific things. It really just comes down to which one decides to use their hacks first. Is Dante going to use Singularity, or is Hades going to use Repent? And I think Hades would be able to get it first. I personally think Hades would take Dante seriously from the start, because Hades is definitely powerful, but so is Dante. I think he would take Dante seriously, he would get off the ship, and he would end up getting down to his, using hidden magic long before Dante gets to Singularity, because Dante through Singularity, you had to go through the initial fight, like all the way through Austin and everybody fighting him, then you had Yami used the Eye Slash, Yami used Death Thrust, and then it didn't take until partway into the fight of him going into 80% with body magic that even used Singularity. That fight legitimately just comes down to whichever one drops the big hacks first. I would probably guess Hades, though. Just based off of, like, Dante needs to get motivated, really, to get into the fight. And Hades outclasses him physically by a lot. Hades casually grabbed Makarov in his Titan form, who's like a mile tall, and just pulled him down to the ground. He just, eye patched on, just grabbed him, threw his ass down. he is absurdly physically strong. Like, Hades' feats are really forgotten about, because, you know, that was fairly early in the story. But it's like he no-diffed, he in base no-diffed a Wizard Saint. Definitely one of the stronger Wizard Saints. Like, if I had to guess Makarov as a Wizard Saint would probably, at the time of, obviously, be like number 5. Like, the only people above him would be the 4 gods of Ishgal. But, like, Hades ran through a base, no problem. And, like, Hades is ridiculous, really, when you think about, like, some of his feats and just what he's capable of. And you also keep in mind that Hades has the advantage on Dante from the standpoint of his gravity magic because of Blue Note. Blue Note's magic shouldn't do anything to Hades. Like, the black hole is different because that's a Hax, and there's no reason to assume that Hades could somehow survive the black hole. I don't think he could. I don't think he would really have to worry about it. You get him in a situation like where he and where Blue Note and Gildarts were. Hades just throws a chain over at Blue Note and throws him. Max, have you read Happy's Great Adventure? Finished it? Happy's Ridiculous Strong. And I haven't read the last, like, volume. Because at the time where I was caught up, it was only halfway through, and it's all fan translation, so I wasn't able to catch it. I read it, the Japanese versions. But I didn't, like, obviously that's not the same thing. Like, I can't fully read, you know, what's being presented. I gotta finish it at some point, for sure, though. It's definitely one that's on my back burner. Holy shit, he's a Chad donate 100. Apparently the anti-villain. My guess in the anti-villain is it's secretly Kenmano, but I have no idea. The funny thing is, like, even if I was right on that guess, I have absolutely zero way of proving it. Like, unless he admits it, I don't know how I would possibly get him to admit whoever is this Rax the anti-villain. Or is it anti-villain, or what is it? Yeah, this one's the anti-villain. So why is this one the anti-villain? There was Rax the villain. I should have just made my name on YouTube Rax or something. Avoided this. Also loved how Natsu screamed out when Lucy's hit. Yeah, he's always looking out for her. Why hasn't Carla went for her humanoid form at all during Hunter Quest? Do you realize that? I don't think she has a reason to. That's definitely a weird thing, though. But I mean, like, they haven't gotten to a point really that she would be required to be in that form. To be perfectly honest, because that doesn't really do much outside of stealth and fighting low-level mobs. She has no other reason to go into it, because it's not like she just decides, like, that's her new form that she's always going to be in. When she was in when she was in Lamia Scale, it was more of like that she just was around, like, always around these other people that probably weren't used to her being an Exceed, and she was the only Exceed, so I would assume that was part of it. Is Shukaku that strong, or is it only Elantir? Wait, what? I don't know who Shukaku is. Fairy Tale City Hero has some great Zerif and villain. So yeah, Mayor Zerif. I mean, the Tumblr hashtag now is being filled with surfer. Wait, what? The surfer anime? That's how bad the drama is. Surfer anime. Since Seacart from Rave Master was serious about protecting time, I think he would have a stroke in dealing with shenanigans. Oh, he would not be happy at all. Sinbad Lucy is not fodder. You are 100% wrong on this. Suguru is War Greymon. I don't know who that is. Well, I know War Greymon. I don't know who Suguru is. Unless you mean Geto from Jujutsu Kaisen. Listen to Maki and Rebecca side by side. Sounds like completely different characters. I actually didn't know that they were voiced by the same person. Comparing Wise to Music hundreds of chapters and from both series, character-wise, who do you prefer? Oh, Wise. Musica to me, like, especially early, like, I liked him, but I was never, like, he didn't have the same level of, like, backstory or, like, presentation as Gray or Wise did. Musica definitely got his stride. I don't know if you said you're 135 chapters in. I mean, unless you're talking about just because Eden Zero's at 135. But, like, the stuff with Silver Ray and everything, that was where Musica's character really picked up a lot. Team Natsu didn't show magic boosts they got in Elantir because it hold themselves back. I mean, what would be the point then? Why wouldn't they just say, like, spiritual magic or something is boosted or whatever? They could have done that just as easy, but it's like Elantir itself, like, boosts magic and, like, advances it. I want Cobra to eat Natsu's fire and become a poison flame dragon. I don't think it would work the same way, because everybody that's gained a hybrid mode is eating it from a Dragon Slayer who has a Dragon Slayer Lacrima. If God Serena was still alive, that would probably be his best bet. I would just see Aries versus X Capricorn. I mean, just a bunch of ship stuff. Kenny, you're crazy, man. All Lucy has is spirits fodder. I mean, her spirits have what Noelle has and more, so I don't know what you mean. Singing twin spinoff Rogue, I feel strong, you know, you just... Oh, so they're actually stronger when they're nearby each other. They're weaker individually, and that's why, like, if you did an individual tier, like, setup of talking about Dragon Slayers, I have one planned, but, like, Sting and Rogue individually are not that strong. Like, they're definitely stronger than most characters in the world, but, like, if you just put one of them up against... Like, if you just took Sting and put him up against, I don't know, frickin' Nibiru... Maybe not Nibiru. He might have trouble with him, but he probably can defeat him. But, like, Skullion, I don't think he can take Skullion, but whereas, like, I doubt Skullion could take Sting and Rogue. But I think he could take either of them individually. I think that's the better way to kind of put it. Easiest one to really go off of. You should watch Vinland Saga. I've read Vinland Saga. Wait, what? You should watch Vinland Saga. It's created by the author who created Attack on Titan. No, that's not. That's not true. Favorite Star Dress? I like the Gemini one. Because I like her weird hat. Yes, his name is Sinbum. That is factual. I'll do an extra mainly because my wallet is in the other room. Oh, that's alright. Any donations are completely voluntary. Like, I always look at it more of like, it's like a tip. Rather than like, I don't know. I know like super chats, like the general idea. You know, you're trying to get attention on something that you said, and, you know, most people would be like, oh, they gave me money, so I gotta read them. I look at it more of like, you just want to give me a tip. And, you know, I read them out because, you know, I mean, if you're gonna give me a tip, I'm gonna give you some extra attention. It's much more of a, like, I don't know, appreciated a way of looking at it rather than, like, the very bland kind of just, like, money currency kind of setup. I don't know. I think it's more friendly, the way that I put it. I don't know. I might just be thinking, overthinking things. I saw Leo X Virgo Star Dress. I want to see the other three ones. It's going to be hard to beat that one. I think that one looks good in general. And the fact that Lucy has flight is really cool. Like, the fact that she can levitate, like, she's, like, off the ground 100% in this chapter when she's doing it. Whether she's got full flight or a degree of levitation, I don't really care. The fact she has that as well, like, it's great. Like, she's just getting so much. And it's fantastic. Because she has, you know, Lucy's never been the power type character. She's always been focused more on, like, the level that she brings to the team with her spirits and her intelligence. She's got a large, general magic pool on top of that, but it's never as focused as, like, what she can bring, just having all these different spirits, all these different abilities, and all these connections. Asta and Libe, could Asta and Libe into cursed energy? Wait, what? Into cursed energy. One of the things I love about Jujutsu Kaisen is they tap negative emotions, but they can control it. Oh, do you mean like if they get curse power? I don't know. They don't need to give Asta too much. He's already OP as it is. Leo and Capricorn Star Dress should look good. I mean, I would assume most of them are going to look pretty good. Like, we only have two, and one of them... The Leo one, Leo X Virgo, is definitely the better one. Like, the Aquarius Scorpio one is good, but I mean, like, at the end of it, it's like, Lucy decided that she had a part of a mech suit to wear, and she ran out of pieces, but she still had her bikini. She's still cool with it. But, I mean, obviously, it's not as hype as, like, her badass freaking Virgo Leo one. That, to me, has got to be her best one. Like, I would be really surprised, at least for her doubles, if any of them look cooler. Because, like, the outfit itself looks great. I mean, she's got the wings. It'd be hard to top this one. Morgan should have lived. He's a good boy. Knocked the reason his family died. Yeah, he's got like a superhero backstory. Hades has Grimoire Heart, which is like fair law. Do you think would one-shot Dante? I mean, it could take Dante down, but I mean, like, it wouldn't kill him. So Dante has the full potential of getting back up. What's up, Guillotine? How's it going? Wendy versus Yuno, an interesting fight. Wendy bodies. Come on, man. Wendy body's pretty fierce. No, Yuno's new form cannot defeat Wendy. What is he gonna do? She eats him, or she just literally looks at him. Separation enchantment. You're out of your form. Like, what is he gonna do? He sends wind at her. She eats it. He does anything with spiritual stuff. Cool. She can just separate it. She can just freaking also enchant. Well, she can enchant her magic to also have spiritual aspects to it. When will Rax the Bystander appear? They'd have, like, Rax the Witness. Rax the, what would be a good one? I don't know, Court Justice or something. They use her human form during Alderaan? I'd have to go back and look. Like, she hasn't had... The thing about Carla, legitimately, is, like, she doesn't have, like, the funniness of Happy, but, like, her whole own personal character thing is that she has the visions. And we haven't had any of those in a while. Like, we haven't had some Carla visions in a bit. I'm hoping we can get some soon. Just to kind of give some attention to her character, but also obviously build up some ominousness. Rax the Fallen Hero. Rax the Hero Sandwich, actually, would be a good one. Oh, the One-Tail Shukaku? I don't know what he means by that, though, when he was talking about it. Maki is sexier than Mai. Yeah. I can agree. I read the 100 Discord chapter yet. I hope it's good, though. Oh, this is really good. What do you think the strongest character Yoko can beat an Earthland or opponents can't get spiritual arts? We need to see, like, where she sits 1v1. I mean, she has the potential to take down a lot of characters, because she's got, like, enough to take down Urza. So, like, she should be fine against most people. Again, it's difficult, because we've never seen her in, like, an outright 1v1. I want to wait until, actually, we see her full arsenal. Because I'm still hoping she has some yokai of value, some big ones. Because so far, all she's shown is, like, fodder ones that just have mass numbers. But I feel like she's got to have at least one powerful yokai that's like, oh wow, this thing is actually like, it's not, we're not going to just fodderize it. It's actually like an opponent. Lucius broke this chapter 100%, dude. She was ridiculous. I don't know who they're talking about. Wait, I don't know who you're talking about. What do you think of the 7 Dragons? Wait, what do you think could turn the 7 Dragon Slayers, especially not so evil? I mean, you have to have some form of ability. Like, none of them are evil. The only one that really was evil was Cobra. I mean, Cobra found a better life. Music is such a failure. Wait, what? He let his GF. I mean, there's nothing he could do about that. There's nothing he could do about what happened to her, so it's not his fault. I mean, he's definitely not a failure, and he's the one who made Revolt, so it's like, he definitely big wins. Justin Myers, best not spoil the chapter for others. Oh yeah, don't spoil things. Dragon Slayers fight best together. Dragon Slayer fights are always the hype, because like there's you have a large mixture of types of like way that characters fight, but it's like you have obviously more casters, like more like ranged casters than you do like heavy brawlers. But Mishima always gets brutal when it comes to Dragon Slayer fights. You always put some extra, sick hand-to-hand combat, like way more like fighting choreography. Characters are hitting each other way harder, being a little bit way more aggressive. Or the fight with non-dragon slayers. I mean, yeah, of course, because like dragon slaying magic is like a very close combat, hand-to-hand type thing. What's the thing you like least about Fairy Tail Rax? I'm really curious. Oh, when Mishima gets bored of a character, he'll pretty much do whatever he can to have him just sidelined aggressively. Is the way I say it. Like, whenever he has a character, say, again, example, Bacchus. Bacchus, when he was introduced, I was so happy when Bacchus showed up, because actually was a couple chapters before Bacchus was, revealed in, the Grand Magic games. I was like, man, Fairy Tail really needs, like, a guy who's just, like, a plain hand-to-hand combat guy. Not a Dragon Slayer, just, like, a straight martial artist. And we got him. He was really cool in his first chapters. He had a great display in the Cherry game. He had a great fight with Elfman. And then, like, we have him against Ichiya. And Ichiya is weird, because Ichiya is actually really powerful. He's just absurdly hard to get to fight seriously. Like, Ichiya, if Ichiya could just always be ready and serious, he'd be a much more dangerous opponent. But, like, him losing to Ichiya was something I was like, okay, sure. I mean, it's one of those things where if you actually understand it, like how Ichiya works, it's fine. But then, like, you just had, right after that, you have Sting one-shot him. You have almost no love to any of them. And, like, he even died before Ultir used her last stages. Mishima has never been kind to characters when he decides that he's done with them. Like, any characters that are reoccurring, he's much nicer to, but the second he kind of like sets you up for like a character he doesn't really feel like using anymore, you're gonna get the shit kicked out. I mean, look at poor God Serena. God Serena had some moments, and then like he just decided he was gonna use him for hype tool for Acnologia, killed him the first second Acnologia showed up. That would be for me, most of it, because, like, another thing that I am not a fan of is Mishima doesn't have forms that usually last that long, but he treats a lot of power-up forms more of like how in video games and like the whole style that Fairy Tail works. It's way more like a tabletop RPG kind of style of things, rather than like Black Clover's is more like it's structured more of like a video game's moveset tree. You played like an MMO or just anything with a point tree system. But Mishima's always treated more of like, if you're playing a game, it's like, oh, go, use Berserk for 3 turns or something, gain these stats or whatever. He's never treated that many forms for that long. They're always handled way more, not like sparingly, way more like aggressively short. They will have a good display, but they're probably not going to be around that long. One of the reasons why, why Wendy's got that value with her Dragon Force, she's actually able to maintain it. But yeah, that's at least one thing for me, because, like, Mishima, usually, like, he doesn't do stuff that upsets me. He's pretty on the ball with stuff that, like, it's just whenever he decides he just doesn't feel like having a character around anymore, he'll usually have him just get destroyed. Like, if Kyria wasn't in Diablos, and she just was, related some other way, the second Laxus defeated her, I would have been like, oh no, she's done. She got bodied by Laxus, she's done, but it's like, okay, sweet, she's not done, she's gonna come back, and we'll see her again. Let's see. Yuna's character and story is even different from Austin Deku and previous shown protagonists. Who do you compare him to? He's actually a little bit comparable to Haru. At least in the backstory. Saying they're making a Keanu Reeves anime. Hell, I'll watch it. They're making a Keanu Reeves anime? I don't know. Leo Aries dressed with Fusion would be awesome. I'm trying to think. What would be a really sick one? Maybe like Sagittarius. Sagittarius and who would be really cool combined? Maybe like Sagittarius and Cancer. And maybe give her like these 6 sword arrows or something. I don't really know. Capricorn actually and Sagittarius would be cool. You have this sleek, like a black archer like style. I don't really know exactly what it would do though. Let me see. Rax the Fairy Dragon. I want to be like a Sun Dragon or something cooler. If Lucy works on her level, combined with her intelligence, and make her even better wizard than she already is. Oh, she's got a big set of potential currently on board with her. Happy Bodies Pino. I mean, Pino can't fight. I mean, is this that not the Eden Zero happy? He gets shut off. Leave it being Lick Sun, Broku's insane son. What? Broku, that's a weird one. Aquarius X Scorpio Stardust mix. That's Sharon used that one. She's against Metro. When they fight Selena, I want Lucy to summon Celestial Spirit King to fight her. I'm hoping so too. If she can summon all of them, she can probably summon the Celestial Spirit King. Raxa Breadmaker, that one is true. I still gotta do a Lucy video. This chapter just gives so much more weight to that. I'm actually very happy. So expect before the next chapter. Like, I got a Lucy video coming up. I really want to do. I've been procrastinating on it. I gotta get that Ivan video out, and then I gotta jump on this Lucy video. I'm stuck. I don't know what to talk about. I mean, we thought mostly about the chapter. Actually, let me just real quick get in that show mode again. Not for me though. For Build King. Read Build King. 100%. Like, Build King is popping off these last couple chapters, starting to get into the action. The power system is really cool. I'm glad people are starting to give a little bit more attention to it after the power system got introduced. I know that there's some people out there that get a big hard on the second they see a chart where you have to understand how the power system works to get how the powers work in total. And like some certain things counter each other, all that junk. I know some people love that, so hopefully they jump onto Build King. The main character's cool. The world is really strange but fun. My man Smith is out here putting people to work. Let's see. Oh, the moss. Oh yeah, you're right. She when she got hit by Doom spores, she was in her humanoid form. You're right, man. Godslayers. Yeah, Godslayers are like Mishima's punching bags. They're like the shining generals for him. Like, every series has those just a set number of characters that just, unfortunately, exist to get beaten up. I mean, really, like, Bleach had the visors, you can say, as well as the Fullbringers, but, like, the Fullbringers, like, were so minuscule, who cares? You know, One Piece has the Giants. Tabata, like, with Black Clover, it's whoever Tabata, like, it's 80% of whatever group Tabata hypes up to be captain level. Most of them are going to be fodder, a couple of them are going to be real good. It's good to see Shuri uses political influence to turn people against the machines. Yeah, he's playing it smart. Just wait for Rax the tax collector show up. I wouldn't do that. I'm not going to tax the good people of the stream. The Celestial Spirit King couldn't do anything smart gear. I mean, so that was Smart Gear. That was Celestial Spirit King, though, summoned through Lucy's level of magic at the time. He'll be much stronger, given current Lucy, if he can summon him. If she can summon him, rather. I wonder what else Creed from Justice's team could do with his ether gear. I'm guessing he can also do, like, shackles. I can imagine, like, just anything that Hades was doing with his chain magic, if he can just do, like, general, kind of, like, general just shackling. Like, imagine he's fighting somebody, he shoots some of those chains, you know, latches onto somebody's leg, sticks them to the ground, attaches their arm to a tree or something. Is able just to kind of, like, make it so, screw you can't move. Movement impairments in general, I guess. I don't imagine he's that good of a fighter with it. Unless he can, like, maybe he could summon, like, a giant iron ball and use, like, a big flail. That'd actually be kind of cool. Shoot his chain, attach it to it, and have, like, a big badass flail. Musica didn't fix Sacrifire. I mean, what is he gonna do against Sacrifire? Man, why hating on Musica? Managing when he gets a rival. I would love there. Somebody was talking about that recently. I don't remember. I think it was in my comments. Like, what if Diablo's has a member that becomes like Wendy's rival, like an evil small kid for Wendy to have as like her opponent. Either a Shota or another Loli. I mean, I'd be okay with it. It'd be pretty funny. It'd be one of those things that, like, it would exist more to, like, mess with Wendy, because we know Wendy just doesn't want to be small. She's waiting to get taller. She wants to get taller, get more busty, like all these other women. She's unfortunately still small. She hasn't shown... She's gotten a little taller, but that's about it. Gray beats the whole Black Clover verse. Yes, he does. 100%. I really want the Bacchus Kana ship. I'd be alright with that. That's one of those ones that our kid would be doomed from the start to have like some form of alcohol problem. But I mean, like, that's Bacchus's best. Like, that's his best opportunity right there. There's no character he's gonna ever have more of a swing with than Kana, so he might. Other than that, it'd be like just drinking buddies. Let's see. Aunt Cobra Gajo on Earth's Quest is my favorite chapters. Wait. Oh, that was they're in Gajo spinoff. You see them hang out. Let's see. How far am I from the bottom? I don't think I'm that far. I'm not. Okay, cool. What's up, Lewis Jr.? How's it going? How far do you think Shiki's is good as a leader as Haru? I mean, Shiki's doing pretty well. He has way more of a leadership position, because though Haru was essentially the leader of the team, Haru didn't have the same full kind of like label as being the leader as like Shiki is outright the captain of the Eden Zero crew. So I personally, I think I would give it to Shiki right now. Like, I really liked when they got off Grand Bell and Shiki wasn't hesitating to make commands and just do his thing. I never read Build King, but the artwork looked like Toriko. It's by the same mangaka. Definitely check it out, though. It's good. Definitely check out Build King. All of my viewers and subscribers, you don't have to read Eden Zero. You don't gotta read Fairy Tail. You don't gotta read Black Clover, but read Build King. Speaking of your Ivan video, Guild Arts director Card says that he hates Ivan. Yeah, that's one of the things I mentioned. Like, the weird thing about Ivan, I won't go too much into it because that'll be for the video, is Ivan, like, almost zero plot points that Ivan is connected to, for Ivan's standpoint, ever go anywhere. Like, Ivan's character just pokes into a lot of different stuff and then just, like, stays. Ivan, I really wish Mishima would just say, like, what happened with Ivan and why he didn't ever really do anything with him. Let's see. I want a Sound Dragon Slayer and a Gravity Dragon Slayer. I actually thought about a Gravity Dragon Slayer. I don't really think we need a Gravity Dragon Slayer just because, like, Shiki has gravity. We saw Blue Note. We know that's not going to do anything to Natsu. I would like, I'm hoping for like plasma or something, radiation, frickin'. What would another be a really cool one? Because like the weird thing about the Diablos Dragon Slayers is they're all very strange in their attributes, so it's like you have to think of something extra weird for them. Like, what if we got like what if we got something like again, that's what I was just gonna say. I'll just go back to the one I already picked. Like we got like a radiation Dragon Slayer or like plasma. Imagine a Dragon Slayer that had lightsabers for fingers. Come on, that'd be sick. Where are the other Devil Slayers at? I really want to see more of that. Like I've had this idea for a spin-off for the Strauss siblings. You make the main villain a Devil Slayer, obviously going after Mira Jane, and then you say that like their family invented devil slaying magic, and maybe you have a flashback where like they met Silver. Maybe that's where Silver went and learned it. I don't know. I really wish that Machine would expand upon that. That's why I'm hoping 0 more Slayer types until we expand on the ones we already have. I'm fine with getting more types to Dragon Slaying magic with the new, you know, 4th and 5th gen and stuff, but I'm hoping that we don't get any more Slayer types until we at least get a couple more. Like, we could have a spin-off and just have God Slayers or Devil Slayers be in it and it not be a big deal. Dragon Slayers are the ones that it's like, if there's a Dragon Slayer, you know, obviously that has to be important somehow. Like, the other ones you can just have. Sherry was just freaking out, going to work, and, you know, she ended up gaining the abilities to have God Slaying magic from, you know, book that she got from, what's her name? The lady in the Magic Council that Gajiel knew. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. Like, what was Orga doing? Orga didn't need it. I swear, if the Jigglebutt gang... we don't need that. We don't need him in there. Main character get bullied. Mid-King should be named... wait, what? I don't even know what you just said, freaking Ready. I don't know what you mean. Named Ursa... Oh, you mean Tonkachi? Are you talking about Build King? Dude, but Build King... No, wait, dude. When you had Bar go and, like, was picking on Renga, Tonkachi stepped up. He's like, hey, stop it. And the second Bar showed any physical aggression, Tonkachi smacked his ass. So just freaking literally slapped him in the face, like and he launched him into a freaking set of stairs. And then the dude came back to punch him and broke his hand on Tonkachi's face. Tonkachi didn't move a muscle. He didn't fight back. He didn't even get moved from the placement he was at. He stayed in the exact same spot he was standing in. The dude broke his hand punching this guy. Tonkachi is a freaking beast. Like, he just is nice. Let's see. What would Fullbringer's Bankai look like? I don't know. I mean, Fullbring powers is a completely different concept than how, like, Zanpakuto work. What do you think an evil Lucy would act and look like? I mean, we had the Snake Lucy. Just go with Snake Lucy. Or, yeah, treats her celestial spirit like slaves. I mean, yeah, pretty much. Just think of Snake Lucy, though. It's just how, easier to go for it. Wendy already has Sherry as a rival and lover. She's not... They're friends. Let's not get that too twisted. They're friends. Isn't Gajiel a counter to Urza? I mean, to Urza's plain normal swords. So, I mean, Urza has elemental swords. And she has an anti-magic set. Do you think Gajiel and Levy Kid is born soon? No, Levy's got some time. Think how much brattier Niebuhr and Silva rolled Ice's airline grit. Wait, what? I don't know. I have no idea what some of these comments are at this point. When becoming an adult, do you think the hero will troll her by making her still flat? There's no way. Don't do that. Don't do the poor girl like that. If you pick the best arcs from all manga... Wait, what? If you can pick the best arcs from all manga you read in your whole life. I mean, like, my favorite overall, like, if I had to pick one arc that says my favorite, I'd pick the Tartarus arc. Tartarus arc is my favorite. I think about that arc on a fair amount of time. The anime looked great too. The soundtrack was great. My only complaint, I think, like every time I think about it, is how they made Natsu's fire gold, and they made his scales more of like brownish, where it should have been red, and his Dragon Force flame shouldn't have been gold. Because this means that, like, not only that, but we saw it in the Alvarez arc was gold as well. So anime fans probably just think that his fire in Dragon Force is gold, and not just that had to do specifically with the Flame of Rebuke. Imagine a God Slayer Devil Slayer war would be epic. I mean, that would be pretty sick. Shiki Overdrive, Dragon Force Natsu. I like Dragon Force way more. Dragon Force, to me, is just cooler because, I mean, the similar concept of how Dragon Force works with Overdrive, because it's like everybody that's a Dragon Slayer gets it, whereas like it's a different category, because like Overdrive is like the power itself, but it's similar to how like Dragon Slayers, when they achieve Dragon Force, and they get their own specific type quirks, like Natsu Burning Magic and stuff. But I mean, if I definitely had to pick, I'd go to Dragon Force. I mean, you become a dragon. I mean, what if your Overdrive is kind of like Draken Joe's? Like, Draken Joe's is not that cool looking. I think it'll look way better colored, but it's like, mostly it's bigger, he gets the spookier face and the tail and stuff. His isn't as, like, badass as outright as Shiki's. This is, like, what? Hiccups again. It's this weird monster form. But I definitely would pick Natsu's over Shiki's. I don't think Shiki's is done yet. I think that's just the first stage. I think it's going to be way different further on. Better hope Natsu versus Iggy one will be the same level of sports versus Sasuke. Oh, I'm way more hyped for Natsu versus Iggy. On top of, like, the fight, I want to get some cool emotional stuff about Iggy. I want to see Iggy's true feelings. I think he's full of shit when he says that he doesn't care. Like Godzilla spinoff, Road Knight dealing with drugs and trafficking. Oh yeah, he was dealing with like child slavery trafficking and stuff. Like, he was doing some heavy shit. Like Godzilla first with Road Knight, like you stated, he was dealing with like a drug trade, and then it went through like children's slave trade. I think the Black Clover anime will come back. Oh, 100%. 100%. Magnet Dragon Slayer? That actually would be cool. A Magnetism Dragon Slayer? That would be badass, man. I would love that. The thing, though, that would be hard is, like, how would you have them fight? How would that person fight Gajio? Because, like, maybe Gajio would have to turn into a metal that's, like, non-magnetic? Are there non-magnetic metals? I actually have no idea. Let me see. Let me Google it. Let me see this. Non-magnetic. Is there any? I actually have no idea. Aluminum, copper, lead, tin, titanium, zinc. Wait, gold and silver aren't magnetic? I didn't know that. If he could turn into titanium or something, that would work then. That'd be cool though, because I really want Mishima to do more with the fact that Gajil's iron turned into steel. Like, if he can alter his metal to be other metals, that would be really cool. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, that's one of those things, like, you have no idea if he's ever going to pull back on that. We're going to see more of it, because it could easily have been one of those one-time things. But I'm really hoping it's not, just because I always really like that. And I'm hoping he manages to do it again, pretty much. Let's see. Where was it? Tonkaichi built different. 100%, dude. He took this dude's punch and it broke the guy's hand. Tonkaichi's a beast. More equip magic users would be nice. And we got Bisca. I mean, like, Requip itself isn't like a high level magic. It's that the Urza can requip so fast, and she has a ton of different requips. Like, we've seen people requip regularly. Like, anytime that a character, like when Hades got up and he went after he took the Lightning Flame Dragon roar, and he made his cloak appear back on, he's requipping. Requipping, you essentially just have your own pocket dimension with stuff in there, but like you have different versions. Like Urza has the Knight, you have you have Biscus as the Gunner, but with there's a lot of miscellaneous ones, like just people using it for its like base level, clothes. I definitely see like more of them up there, but it's like I would much rather see a bunch of new magics. I'll say this, seeing other characters with like magics like that, like if we saw another requip character, I would prefer that got saved until if Mishima does a next generation thing after 100 because imagine if we got a character who also used requip, but instead of swords, maybe they used magic tools, like somebody who just used a bunch of different weird magic tools and kept requipping them. I don't know, something like that would be really cool. After the Igneo from Tartarus versus the Spriggan 12. I mean, Irene is there. Like, I don't think that Irene would lose to that Igneo. Like, Igneo, he did damage Acnologia, but it's like, we know Acnologia wasn't fighting seriously. The only threat I honestly see is Irene. Because, like, the other ones, like August, like, power-wise, August, I mean, August couldn't stand up to Acnologia, like, we already know that. But I mean, like, August would get completely screwed because Igneo can literally burn everything he does. The only one I'd say is Irene. I mean, other than that, though, he should be fine. Like, his only obstacle, literally, is Irene. He has the potential to take her down, but, I mean, Irene's thing is that she's also tricky. Like, fighting Irene would be very, very tedious because of, like, how flexible her magic is and how much she knows. If Natsu want to take over Fiore, you'd have little problems. I mean, yeah, most of the people that have any form of threat to him are in the guild. Do some Cobra and 100 Years Quest now, please. I would love it if Cobra showed up. Don't trust Sukuna, he's an ass. Oh, that's, I mean, is there a person Sukuna, or do you mean like Sukuna Vegeta Gaisen? What's up, Guild Zero? How are you doing, man? I was speaking about an evil Lucy combining Libra and Langris. Wait, what? I mean, like, each manga you read best arc so far. I mean, I'd have to look at a lot of different series. I mean, like, off the top of my head. Yu-Gi-Oh! I'd probably pick either Battle City, Awakening the Dragons, Fairy Tales is Charters, Black Clovers. I would probably say the Sea Temple arc or the Elf Resurrection. Or probably the Elf Resurrection arc because it's a culmination of all these other arcs. Chainsaw Man. Man, the stuff with Reze was so cool when it was coming out, and you just seen Denji ride a freaking shark. I mean, yeah, there's definitely a lot of picks I'd have to go through. Toriko, what would be my favorite in Toriko? Probably the Bambino arc. I thought that was great. Probably either that or Iced Hell. That would be pretty sick. Is there an updated power level scaling list for Fairy Tail? Because of defeating Acnologia, it kind of seems like more Fairy Tail characters should be at government tier. I don't know what do you mean government tier? I don't even know what that means. What do you think about a celestial dragon? I mean, same as Lucy. So I think there is going to be a space dragon person with Japanese name. It looks like JL, your Justice League. But I think it's going to be Jalal. I think Jalal is going to become a 5th generation Dragon Slayer. I'm in full belief he's going to show up for this arc. I think it's going to be because of Celine. I think there's going to be an opportunity for him to eat dragon meat. No, like, he'll find out about how 5th gen works. Something will happen where, like, Urza's in trouble, and he's going to end up eating dragon meat in order to become strong enough to, like, fight back against Celine in order to help Urza. That's the thing that I've had for a while. I've had this theory sitting. It's probably my biggest fan theory of any of my fan theories. My biggest 3, I would say. That one's probably number 1. You have Wizard King Crypt Rades. If Rades ever finds a Wizard King Crypt, and that's a bunch of different Wizard King zombies. And then Luffy's next form, if it's Gear 4th Tiger Man. I've been holding on to this for years after a One Piece fan was a jerk to me after I said, like, the whole idea of it. So I'm sitting on it until either the end of Wano, the end of Kaido, or if it comes out and he has, like, a different form. If it's Gear 4th Tiger Man, I'm talking shit. But, yeah. How would Asta, Noel, and Yuno handle the 9 demon gates of Tartarus? Oh, Asta would have a rough time. Because none of them, they're not using magic. Some of them have magic, but it's like they're using curses and stuff. Well, Noel would have a horrible time against Tempesta. Not Tempesta, against Torafusa. Like, she'd go in water, and he uses his ability, she just frickin's like, okay, and then doesn't realize that she dies. He poisons her. Like, they would have a terrible time. Top 5 fights in the Alderaan arc. Number 1 is definitely the Alderaan fight. Number 2, I'd probably give to... Fight-wise, I really like the fight against Doom. There's, like, Wendy boosting all the lesser members of Fairy Tail to give them their own spotlight. I was a huge fan of Max going to Alvarez to learn from Agil. I thought that was great. The Natsu versus Gagio rematch. Urza versus Laxus, obviously. I'd probably put that at number 3. And then number 4 is probably... number 4 I'd probably say is the Jalal versus Gears fight. Because that was a huge... Like, it wasn't a badass... Like, it wasn't a huge battle fight, but it was a huge character fight. I love that. I love that now we have Jalal. He's accepted where he's at in life. He's accepted what he's done. He knows he can't change the past, but he can press forward for the future. And he knows that's the future of the Earth, and I'm very happy about that. We finally got through that. And I was very, very pleased that Mishima decided to appropriately bring that to an end. Because, like, I've always was a fan that he
he didn't just brush off what he did. He still blamed himself. He still willingly chose to go down that path, and he didn't take the easy way out of just kind of like slacking off responsibility. Time for me to go to bed, Rax. Thanks for to the stream. Take care and have a good day. Yeah, have a good day too, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate any donation. Appreciate you showing up. I should have said that. Should have switched that over. It sounded like the money was more valuable, but no. People showing up is more than enough. Anything beyond that is just a good bonus. I want to go back in time and have to escape his parents. So I always thought there would be a time travel arc, but I didn't think it would be going back to his parents. I always figured it as like you would have certain characters go back to when Dragon Slayers were a regular thing during that whole war, and have Natsu meet a bunch of other Dragon Slayers. Like when Dragon Slaying was just, there was a good lot of them. They had them in their army, so it's like he could just meet a bunch of people around like while it was still booming. Think Eden's Reverse is going to be stronger than Black Clover? I mean, they already are. They have the Chronophage. No, tell me who in Black Clover could possibly stand up to a Chronophage. Like, a Chronophage literally just flies over the Black Clover planet, absorbs its time, and then goes about its day and leaves. Who do you think will have more father issues, Shura or Ignia? Oh, Ignia. The thing about Ignia that holds a lot of potential is the fact that Natsu and Ignia's relationship completely altered dragon culture, because we know after, like, when Ignia explained it, that male dragons don't stick around for their offspring. So there's the potential for Ignia's backstory to have that. Well, what makes Natsu so special? Why was Natsu the one that my dad decided to actually give attention to and not me? If dragons aren't going to do this, why is he like this? And on top of that, combine it with the fact that he was living in fear. Ignia's flashback needs to happen. Out of all the dragon gods, Ignia's, I think personally, is the most important of Acnologia's presence. Because out of Alderon, Mercephobia, Ignia, we don't know anything about Viernes, but out of the 4 right now, Ignia was the only one that when it happened, he was a child. He was a little baby ass dragon. So when this was going on, all he knew was this human who obtained dragon slaying magic was going on a genocidal rampage and hunting dragons down to mercilessly kill. Ignia didn't do anything to anyone at that point. He had done nothing to anybody. So it had to have been terrifying. It had to have been terrifying for him. Somebody so powerful that nobody in the world can stop him is planning to hunt you down and kill you. And all you can do to avoid that fate is either get strong enough to beat him or die. Or hide, I guess. I don't know why I said die in there, because the whole thing was about avoiding that. But you know what I mean. I just want my 2nd gen Magna Lava Dragon Slayer to be canon. That would be pretty cool, too. A Lava Dragon Slayer. A Lava Dragon Slayer, though, the danger of a Lava Dragon Slayer in a way that... I was just going to say, I think that would be one better for like a next generation. Have like a Lava Dragon Slayer, maybe like Laxus' son or something. That should be really cool. If like Laxus is like, I want to be like my dad but different and obtain Lava Dragon Slaying or something. Like maybe tie that in like the guy that beat Natsu at one point, or beat Laxus at one point, he goes to Natsu but goes lava over fire. But it's like, if we can't have a Lava Dragon Slayer right now. Because otherwise, Natsu, it's going to be used for Natsu to steamroll. It'll be like, he throws lava at Natsu, doesn't do anything to Natsu. It's like a Natsu flex moment. Natsu beats him. Time Dragon Slayer and Space Dragon Slayer. I mean, that's pretty much what Acnologia was at the end. Aluminum. Yeah, it's, apparently it's not non-magnetic. I didn't know that. Yeah, we recently talked about Diablo's kid as when he's rival. I would like that. I think that'd be pretty funny. Maybe some, like, it would really depend. Yeah, actually, that'd be the perfect time to give Wendy, like, a romantic interest. I just imagine some mean little, like, just imagine some, like, 14-year-old dragon-slaying prodigy kid. He's just mean. He's just an asshole. But he has, like, maybe, like, he has developed a thing for Wendy. I'm just trying to, like, formulate it all in my head right now. But I think that would actually be, like, the best way to do it. Because Diablos definitely isn't evil now. I mean, we have Suzaku to thankfully confirm. Like, they are not evil. It's really just a point of perspective. So you have just a mean little Dragon Slayer kid. Maybe he could be Wendy's, Wendy's romantic interest character. I think that'd be cool. At that point, it would really depend on, like, what element would he have, or attribute, rather, I think is the better way. Magnetism, though, would be perfect. Give that magnetism to that kid. Would you consider the Spriggan 12 the strongest? Oh, wait, would you consider the Spriggan 12 given their loyalty to deserve evil or lawful neutral? I mean, what they were doing is they were fighting for their emperor. They were doing from their perspective what the right thing was, because the whole setup with Alvarez against Fiore is they weren't doing it to be evil. Like they were being like an enemy nation conquering for what they believed, you know, to be the greater good of purpose. Like they didn't know entirely what Zeref was doing, but they trusted him and what he was doing. And from the standpoint of people from Alvarez, they were fine. It really just comes down to perspective in that situation. My favorite character in Kaisen is Yuji, Sukuna, Gojo, Nami, and Maki. Mine's Megumi. What's more evil, Fairy Tail Jalal or William Black Clover? I would give it to Jalal, because William thought he was doing the right thing for a bit. Like, he was very conflicted, whereas Jalal was fully on board with what was happening until, like, obviously the events of the Tower of Heaven. Before that, he was on board with it. He was ready to start the, you know, world of Zeref, start building towards freedom. Root Magic have a pocket dimension, Urza Universal confirm. Oh yeah, that is true, Kenzie. With the whole Sosa logic, it probably would apply. Too bad Mishima's never expanded on Urza and Jalal being very good at telekinesis. I mean, it's never been like a focus for their stuff. Like it's one of those powers that has been more utility rather than focus. The only person that's like actually had telekinesis as their main is what Dist. Oh, doesn't Lucy learn Requip? I mean, she's got her own thing. She doesn't need to have that much. She doesn't need everything. She could resummon her keys. Well, the thing is, like, if she summoned them somewhere and then dropped them, unless they went back to wherever her Requip dimension was, then they'd just be stuck somewhere else. I think that's actually 1v1 Ignia. I'm hoping so. Rax is a Kobeni, a Musica fan. We don't respect such opinions. You don't like Kobeni? There's no reason to hate Musica. Kobeni, though, is an acquired taste. She's a good girl, though. She's really nice. She just kept getting shit above her head. Would you see a crossover between Eden Zero and Build King? Oh, wait, I assume we Build King instead of Build Along. I'd like that. That'd be pretty funny. They just go to, like, they're like, why is this planet focused on building so much? That'd be a pretty fun one, though. I doubt Jalal will even be in this arc. I think he's going to be in the arc. The thing is, at the end of the whole outing, like, the whole intermission arc between Drasil and Elentier, you have the panel of Urza and Jalal, like, you know, embracing each other under a, like, big crescent moon. I feel like the fact that Mishima did that right before an arc focused around somebody who's obsessed and centered around the moon is just, it'd be such a coincidence. I think Jalal's going to be in this arc for sure. I meant the government like I meant the 10 Wizard Saints. Oh yeah, easy. I mean, they're fine. Wizard Saints aren't really much anymore. They think Osto will be, wait, who do you think Osto will be in the States? Oh, no, well, that's not a problem. Urza versus Laxus was the best fight in Alderaan. I like the Natsu fight more, Natsu versus Alderaan, but it's definitely one of the better ones. My number 2, though, I would definitely say is the Doom fight, just because I loved that chapter. Like, it had very core fairy tale vibes to it. The fact that, like, regardless of, you know, these other characters not being very powerful by themselves, Wendy was able to help them so they could be. You had, like, all, like, the different aspects of the story playing into, like, their strength. Like, for that, Max was one of them. The other one was Kinana. Like, after, like, meeting back up with Cobra, she had poison magic pretty well down. So I like seeing stuff like that because it ties connections and aspects of the story together. So now, like, Max is on good speaking terms with Agil. So, like, because of the events on the Alvarez arc, he's now able to converse with the Emperor of a whole land, who's like a top tier wizard in the world. Like, Agil is still one of the strongest humans known in the whole fairy tale world, especially since half of the Spriggan died. There's only a handful of characters more powerful than him out there in the world. I want Gildarts to beat Natsu again and beat the Dragon God soon. That's not going to happen. And Natsu and Gildarts get in a fight again. It's going to be a full fight, and I can guarantee you Natsu won't win. Let's see. Rax, have you done Fairy Tale Magic System Explained video yet? Try looking at. I might talk a little bit about it, but the thing about the Fairy Tale Magic, and like I've explained it usually in contrast to Black Clovers because they're very similar, but like core and fundamental aspects are different. Fairy Tail's magic system is very much more like if you're playing like a tabletop RPG game. It's designed to be a lot more free, Whereas Black Clover's is designed to be way more structured. It's more of like a video game, something with like a talent tree or a skill set. You get points to put into. They're very different aspects into kind of the fundamentals of them. Like for instance, on Black Clover, regardless of what magic you use, you're going to end up learning Mana Skin, because you're going to need it for just general defensive boosts and stats and whatnot, like resistances. Whereas like in Fairy Tail, the two things that really regard your stats are going to come down to your magic amount and what magic you use. Because, your raw magic amount is always important, and then what kind of magic you use it through is very important. Of what are you going to be, like a very physical character? Are you going to be durable? Are you going to be ranged? It's way more of like how you utilize it that it kind of comes out to be. But I mean, also you get to choose. So it, again, like the freestyle of it is way more of it's harder to work around if you're going to do like a powers explained kind of thing at the standpoint of like the whole system. Because the thing about Fairy Tail is different. It's like magics will each have their, like, there are magics that have their own individual rules. Like they said, every magic has their own rules. Like not every one will be seen, but there are limitations depending on what specifically you end up using. What are the what are your general thoughts? I don't know if it's what are your general thoughts on chapter 100 and 101 Doshinshi? Oh, I don't know. Chapter 100 and 101 Doshinshi? I have no idea. I don't really read Doshinshi, so I don't know. Have a great one, Rex. See you later. Yeah, I'm getting ready near the tail end of the stream. I'm gonna finish up in a minute. The reminder: Dragon Force Nonsense Tower of Heaven couldn't defeat Jalal. He was gonna be he was gonna get killed by Abyss Break, but the wounded Urza gave Jalal made it possible for him to use the move. What do you mean? Like, I know that. Wait, no, Dragon Force Natsu. I mean, he probably would have just jumped into Jalal in the first place. It really would depend. We don't know if he would have lived or died for sure, but I think he would have been fine just jumping into Jalal, but that just gave him the opportunity to attack Jalal. But I mean, like, even if not, I mean, like, what does that really amount to? Like, he was still blitzing Jalal. He was still smacking the shit out of Jalal. And then, like, the second he actually got in, like, that full attack, he beat Jalal. So, I mean, I want to see way more. I want to see way more for the Chronophage, or how you even spell it. Yeah, Chronophage, that's it. Arax, do you think Urza's Grand Chariot, we will see it again? I hope so. That was such a weird plot twist in Dragon Pride, because it's like, Urza can logically use Grand Chariot. All she'd have to do is to learn it. All she'd have to do to learn it is either find information on how to do it or talk to Jalal. But why? What is Mishinu's plans? I think he's going to end up having that, like, the half Grand Chariot symbol Urza, half Grand Chariot symbol Jalal in this arc. Another reason why I think that Jalal is going to show up. You know, ton of Iron Nancy, the design of, wait, did he do a video on Viernes? I didn't see it. I had to go look. Laguna versus Percival. Oh, Percival would definitely win. Or sorry, Laguna would definitely win. I mean, he just Percival would cry, and then he could freaking turn him into water. You can trap people in his mental world, and Sukuna just kills them. Well, he's got like his weird memory alteration thing. It's important to keep in mind, talking to people who like Natsu, saying the series Natsu, if he went Dragon Force, was Wizard Saint. What? What are you saying? Like, Natsu at that versions, but those were artificially induced. That's not the same as like how strong Natsu was in reality. That was Natsu with a way that he figured out a way to cheat a boost. Natsu learn Ki could be too much. Oh, he'd be way too much. That plus his dragon senses already in his King battle tactics. Let's see, why does Iron Nancy hate Celine so much? He just hates cool people, unfortunately. Celine's goated. Let's see. They said Abyss Break is Jupiter Cannon. Urza's impressed Jalal could use it on his own. I mean, yeah, I mean, that's Jalal. Romeo isn't getting that type of spotlight ever. And Romeo's never getting any spotlight. Imagine Ignia fights Natsu and says he chose to raise a demon over his own son. I would love that. That'd be interesting. I don't think so, though. Oh, if Ignia says it, I could see that. I thought you were saying if Ignia said it. I'm like, Ignia would never say such a thing. Ignia has the potential, the best villain in Fairy Tail overall. I think so, too. Well, not over Zeref. I don't think over Zeref. Zeref is like Mishima's freaking like gold standard. I'm not a gold standard. He is his freaking, what is it, magnum opus is his greatest character. Let's see. I don't know what some people are talking about. Natsu would be able to fight Guildlords and base. I was like, maybe something to beat him. He's trying to force on anyone in the guild.
He would use it on Gildarts. Natsu would absolutely use it if it means, like, winning the fight. If he thinks he's gonna lose, he's gonna use it. Think of when Natsu fought Max. He thought he was gonna lose. He popped Lightning Flame Dragon mode well above Max's level and freaking tried to hit him with it. Max would have been done and out. He probably would have spent a couple days asleep. Natsu is not above pumping up levels if it means fighting and winning. He's about taking wins. I think he just wouldn't try and kill freaking Gildarts. He's not gonna hit him with Purgatory Dragonfire. I am hoping Natsu doesn't kill Ignia. I really don't want him to kill Ignia. I really want Ignia to live. Because I already believe Celine's gonna die, and it's that unfortunate side of things, of reality, of the fate that she's setting herself up for. But I'm really hoping Ignia doesn't die. This chapter's too good, not gonna lie. Oh, I love this chapter. I thought it was great. Natsu's definitely the strongest one in the guild. 100%. Gildart should have been in the Alderaan arc for Natsu versus Gildart's rematch. Maybe in the future. The thing about, like, with Celine is Celine can make any character appear at any point in time if she feels like it. Not only because she had the full capabilities, but nobody can stop her. If she showed up and said, hey, Gildarts, you're coming with me for, you know, the fight for me in an arc or something, Gildarts can't say no and then try and fight back at her. He's gonna comply. The only two characters in all of Earthlane that can fight back against Celine are Ignia and Viernes. So, like, anybody else, like, she has the full authority and full power to do whatever she feels like. I believe Jalal was the strongest wizard in the Grand Magic Games. Might be that. Oh yeah, I think he was definitely stronger than Jura. Like, Jura was sweating bullets when he was seeing Sema getting prepped. Need Jalal versus Laxus. I'm still waiting for that. I think I'm waiting for that in the series, and I've been talking about doing that in a video for months. I just got to get to it. But I definitely think Jalal would win. Would a good Black Clover Fairy Tale crossover villain be revived fairy species? Like the Irish version of the Devils. I think actually a really cool Black Clover Fairy Tale villain would be like a devil that came across Hell's Core, like figured out a way to fix Hell's Core and modified themselves to be like part Ethereus devil, part frickin' underworld devil, and had like both curses and some crazy magic on top of that. I think that would be actually pretty cool. Anyway, I'm going to end the stream. Thanks, everyone, for showing up. I appreciate the super chats, of course, from my apparently the anti-villain version of myself, as well as Anime Fan 99. I appreciate you guys, 100%. I appreciate anybody who donated, and everybody for showing up. This was a good stream, a little bit shorter than the usual streams. Usually I try and go for around 2 hours, but I got to get up early tomorrow, so I'm going to end the stream here. I got to get my last bits of stuff prepped up for work. And I got a game to play. I'm gonna play a little bit of Switch before. Oh, and let me get to this Suzaku comment. I can't let a Suzaku comment go by. Suzaku seemed mighty confident that he could take on Celine. I mean, that's just. I'm sure he's just being cocky. Like I don't think he's like overly gauged. Maybe it's just one of those things he hasn't seen Celine in action. I'm really hoping that he isn't so overhead in his own abilities that he thinks Celine is a pushover. Otherwise, he's going to get his ass kicked. I do not in any degree think that Celine is a pushover, and he needs to know that too. But anyway, other than that, though, I'll comment below. Thumbs up the video. I guess this is a stream, but yeah, next one, we're going to get back to streams on Saturdays. My plan is I'm going to keep the Saturday streams for the most part, and then on Fairy Tale chapter days, I'm probably going to also stream on the Tuesdays with the chapters in it. But other than that, though, yeah, thanks everyone for showing up. Bye. I don't know if that first bye went through. I got my headphones on, so I didn't know if it fully went in. So I just said it again. So if you heard both, then I guess you're a double winner of the